Go ahead and mute everybody except for Bud.
A race league mornings at 9.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and with Bud and Bigdaddysauce. How are you this morning, Bigdaddysauce? He's sleeping.
Oh, not too bad. No, I'm just trying to get this up and running. The comment section is not pulling up on the YouTube channel.
Again, everybody, welcome. Hope you have your coffee. I have my HEB Taste of San Antone. Delicious coffee. I'd like to thank our sponsors this morning, Unique Waterworks out of Rockport, Texas, August 5 Designs in Corpus Christi, Victoria, Texas, East Side Engine Works in Indiana, and Dragon Magic Productions in Rockport, Texas. So how was your weather today?
Oh, it's not too bad. It's chilly out there, but the sun is out.
We had a
A little wind.
We had a little rain move in here last night, and nice and pleasant. Little breeze this morning. A little moist outside. We're having a little more showers this evening. We need rain bad down here. It's pretty dry. However, y'all were blessed with snow a week ago.
A little bit more than a week ago, but yeah, it's all gone. We had a thunderstorm yesterday.
I would welcome one of those. I would like a nice turd floater down here. It'd be nice. The pond is the driest I've ever seen it.
I am not seeing a comment section. I do not know what's going on here today.
I don't see one either.
We have a faux pas. Pretty interesting.
Have they made a change?
I do not know. I'd say we just continue on with the...
Keep it rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So what do we got on tap today?
Well, we have a couple topics here. The NVR NASCAR recap. We ran the ARCA series on Friday. The victor was Jeffrey, GT97. He had a pretty good race. It was, all in all, a tight race. Several battles all over the track. A good battle up front for the first and second position with Jeffrey and Little Sethy. I know that myself, Christy, and Radical had a battle for fifth place, back and forth. There were a lot of back and forths all over the track, and some good battles. Little Sethy got the fastest lap in the ARCA race on Friday.
All over the track.
In the Real Electric Truck Series in Bristol, Lucas with the victor and fastest lap in that race, followed by Erpel and J-Set. That was a pretty tight race. There were a few cautions, but all in all, you figure this is Bristol, by the way, and it was action-packed and quite interesting. A lot of near misses and a T-bone or two.
A T-bone or two.
A T-bone or two. In the Xfinity Series, the A5 Designs Xfinity Series at Darlington, Jeffrey came victorious with the fastest lap. That was an interesting race as well. That Darlington track, that's a tough track to tame, let me tell you. Cup Series today, this evening at 5 p.m. Central, will be at Darlington, and that I'm sure will be an interesting race. That track is a difficult beast to manage. A little bouncy. You got the interesting first turn. I think that was the majority of the collection points last night. But all in all, I believe that the racing has improved and has been quite fun last weekend.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you just keep the ball rolling here. I'm gonna find out why we do not have a chat section.
I wonder if this is on the YouTube's end, perhaps.
Just keep going with the show, and I'll figure this out as we go.
Copy that. I know, in other topics of conversation, though, Cletus McFarland's been making the news lately with his debut in the Xfinity Series coming April 4th. I know, Driver X, are you on? Are you on?
I am here, yes.
Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. I was trying to find this story on McFarland. I know his stuff, his plans got leaked before he even released them.
Yeah, he kind of, it didn't get released early from someone else. He did it on the podcast with Junior, I think is what it was. And
Yeah.
Junior's episode came out a little bit early.
And he brought Junior some interesting food. Do you know what it is?
That I did not. I didn't watch the actual podcast. I did see a little clip of him announcing it, though.
Let me bring it up here. It was quite interesting.
Now, here's the most interesting part of this contract. Do you know how much he is making for this race?
No, I do not, actually.
That right there, I think, is the most controversial part and the reason why people are more upset. His salary is only $3.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's interesting. I wonder why the significance of $3.
I think it's more. I heard the rumor that RCR is just trying to get a little more publicity, trying to get their name back into NASCAR, so they're trying to use this name to get it there, basically. The thing that really surprised me is it's kind of a 50-50 on Cletus running Rockingham, that people like it and don't like. The main reason people don't like it is because of the what was it? Like, I guess the entry requirements for somebody. Because if you look at him the past few years, he's not really qualified to run Xfinity or the O'Reilly Series. But at the same time, too, with all of his racing knowledge, he does qualify at the same time. He understands how to control a car, but he doesn't understand how to control these cars yet. And I think with him running the ARCA cars as much as he has, I think he's actually going to do a little bit better in the O'Reilly Series than he did the Truck Series. Because the trucks, it's a whole different ball game between the ARCA, O'Reilly, and the Cup, just because of how the rear ends are.
Yeah, the rear ends seem to be extremely light, free.
Yep. And people are going to criticize, oh, he wrecked at Daytona. Well, he wrecked at Daytona because he did the one thing he was told not to do. He hit the yellow and he overcorrected. So it wasn't a fact that he just didn't know how to drive. Right. He just couldn't catch the car. And to be honest with you, any other driver in that field would have been a 50-50 if they would have saved that wreck anyways, too. So it's hard to judge someone on something that you don't even do either. Because it's like, well, if I thought I was as good as him, I'd be out there. But look at me. I'm just sitting here. So you kind of have to take it a little bit different perspective.
Well,
And plus, too, I think Cletus
is doing it
I
for the
don't
love
think
of the
he
sport.
wants. Yeah, he's not doing it for money. He wants
No.
to do it because he just likes to get behind of a car.
Correct.
Which is good. But again, too, I think that's where a lot of people are a little huffle and ruffle of him doing his rally series. But also, too, I mean, it's just a spider web you can go off with this stuff. Rockingham, in my opinion, isn't the best starting track for a newbie.
True.
I think they should have started them somewhere. It is, even with the repave. Even with the repave, it's still a bumpy track.
I think it will always be.
I think they should have started them somewhere a little bit smaller. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they probably should have started them off either at Pocono or maybe Michigan or something a little bit more kind of super speedway style, but not flat out. He'll learn the braking, he'll learn how to slow down the car properly, and then once he get that done, then he'll be able to go to shorter tracks. So that's my opinion on it. Obviously, I got no say, but I think it's good that they're allowing more people to come in, because, like Kyle Busch said it, if they got the money, let them race. If they're bringing funding to the sport, why are we going to stop them? The sport's already having problems with funding. Let's get the funding and back it up, and then we can figure out the problems after that.
Right.
And and the Kyle Busch, a lot of people go off of what Kyle Busch says, because a lot of people see Kyle Busch as obviously the veterans of the sport right now, and he's always been vocal after every race, for almost every announcement going through, and he's always been honest. And for him to say that he was actually okay with Cletus racing at Rockingham, he was everyone was kind of, oh, really? Because he even said, a lot of guys probably think I'm one of the ones that think this is a dumb idea. And he's like, I think it's a good idea, because if they're funding the sport, let him in.
I think that it's too closed to a lot of folks. I mean, I think if there were more opportunities for folks on the lower series, to come in and race your way in, like it used to be back in the day, instead of you just enclosed, we're only doing these teams. And I think that is what is missed in a lot of the stock car racing in the professional field today, in my opinion. I think that would change a lot of aspects. You would have more variations of names on the leaderboard, or possibilities to acquire driving spots in other companies.
I got an idea that just brewed through my head that NASCAR could do.
Ready, brace yourself. Hold on. All right.
I think this is a good one. I think this is also something we can take game-wise implemented. For every new driver that wants to come into the sport, the year prior to them actually starting, they go through a small list of tracks with all of the new prospects. Everyone that's never raced goes through a small little series for a driver and development program.
All right.
In those races, they're going to be looked on driving technique. Yeah, basically, you're going to be evaluation, and if they don't meet a certain criteria, they are not allowed to race. And it's not, they're not allowed to race, that year, the year following. Give them a year or two, basically. Have them work on their stuff. Have them stay in that driver development program, because they can still go through it and still learn, but don't have them go onto the actual track for viewing. Because, honestly, the one thing that's kind of been hurting NASCAR in these last few years is all the wrecks that they've been having a lot of these races. And that is more of the lack of talent that some of these drivers have that are coming up. NASCAR is really bad on moving drivers up way too quick because they see them win in the series prior.
And
I think every driver should have a recommended 2 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure they do have a driver development program. each team does have a
What?
driver development program. However, the NASCAR itself does not regulate.
Yeah, I think NASCAR. I think they could take those views honestly and help boost up the lower series some. Kind of give them like ARCA cars almost already. Because that's obviously what they're going to have to get into. So give them something close to that. Just try to get them to understand how the car controls. Because if you can't get a car under control before you are actually taught, you're never going to be taught properly because your mind's already set. So if you get these drivers in a class before they get into that seat, exactly, you're going to take those habits away. You're going to make them almost non-existent, essentially. And the biggest thing, I don't know if a lot of drivers still do this or not, but watching old replays of old races. That's the biggest thing. I used to be a thing I heard every week from drivers. Oh yeah, I watched hours and hours of old replays of so and so, from a few races back. I don't hear any of that no more very often. Maybe like once or twice a season. But other than that, a lot of these drivers are just hitting the sims these days and just throwing down laps.
Right. Instead of
and don't get me wrong,
watching replays, they'll throw down laps on sims, and I understand the sim idea. It helps with mental and visual preparation. However, the feel is different. The cars do handle different, but
Yep.
I mean, you got some of these teams that have them really high dollar sims that I'm sure that are a lot better, and it's all probably eye driven.
If I remember correctly, JGR's sim rig that they have is a little bit over $500,000 built.
Not surprising.
So and that's probably close to what all of them are. They probably got the same sim and everything to keep it really close to evenness, I guess you could say. But yeah, $500,000 sim rig and just throwing laps down. Yeah, that's good. But but the one thing with sim racing is you never get true to real world is weather conditions. The weather conditions is the major factor between sim racing and real life racing. And I think that's where a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'm good over here in the virtual world. Okay, yeah. Let's see how you do in actual temperatures, though. Is it when the track gets hot? Are you going to be able to actually control the car, or are you going to be spinning? If the track's cold, are you going to be able to slow down the car in time, or are you going to be pushing out of the turn? It's a lot of those aspects. A lot of those aspects that get overseen between the sim and real world. And with all of us being from Gran Turismo, we're very familiar with that world from the GT Academy. And the GT Academy, in my opinion, was one of the best things for racing ever. And with that too, the reason why I think it thrived is because every winner of the GT Academy would go on to win their first ever race in their endurance series, which was the most amazing thing ever.
Which is impressive, and nonetheless.
And it wasn't wins of small margins. I'm talking minutes advance, or even sometimes laps in advance. I'm pretty sure the first race that they had for the GT Academy was they went to Bathurst. And I'm pretty sure they had like a 30-second lead on second place. Like there was no one able to touch them whatsoever. It was so awesome.
That is impressive. Chad, were you able to figure out anything on your end?
Yeah, I'm texting you currently.
I have not seen one. No. Okay.
The only thing I can say is we might need to shut the live stream down for a minute and restart. It could be just simply a glitch, which does and can happen.
Oh, yes, absolutely. All right, we'll take a pause for the cause, and we'll be right back.